Hi guys, welcome back to Learning with JD, and we are again talking about a quick tip for clearing your PMP or CAPM examination. So in today's session, we are going to look at what are the different project and development life cycles. Now this is again one of the most important part from your foundational element section in chapter 1 of your Pmbok 6th edition. So let's have a look. What is a project life cycle? A project life cycle is a series of phases that happens in a project. Now it can be a possibility that one project has, just gets completed in 2 or 3 phases. It can even be a possibility that some larger projects may even take further more time. So the project life cycle is something that provides a complete framework right from the first phase till the last phase. It will have multiple phases in between. It provides a basic framework for managing the project. The phases may be sequential, iterative or overlapping. All projects can be applied to this generic life cycle. So the one or more phases that generally happens in a project are known as development life cycle. Development life cycles can be predictive, iterative, incremental, adaptive or a hybrid model. Let's look at all 5 of them in a little brief, specifically from your examination perspective. You may get 1 or 2 questions around this, and it's important for you to know the understanding of all these development life cycles. So let's begin with a predictive life cycle. What happens in a predictive life cycle? In a predictive life cycle, the scope, time and cost, all the 3 important factors are determined at the very beginning of the project. At the early stages basically. Any changes to the scope are carefully managed. Predictive life cycles can also be known as waterfall life cycle. The next one is the iterative life cycle. Now in an iterative life cycle, the project scope is generally determined at the early stages of the project. However, the time and the cost is done as the project moves on. It happens when the understanding of the product increases. At the initial stages where the scope may still be able to determine, because you know what the product is, you know how you need to build it. But once the understanding of the product, of the output increases, only then the time and the cost are determined. Now let's see what happens in an incremental life cycle. The deliverable is produced through a series of iterations. The deliverable contains the necessary and sufficient capability to be considered complete only after the final iteration is ready. So that's about the incremental life cycle. Then comes the adaptive life cycle. Adaptive life cycles are agile, iterative and incremental. The detailed scope is defined and approved before the start of an iteration. Adaptive life cycles are also known as agile or change-driven life cycle. Now we'll talk about the last one, which is the hybrid life cycle. A hybrid life cycle is a combination of predictive as well as adaptive life cycle. Those elements of the project that are fixed and can be determined at the early stages of the project will fall under a predictive life cycle, whereas those elements that are still evolving will follow an adaptive life cycle. Now it is up to the project management team the way they want to use and which life cycle they feel suits best for their project. The project life cycle of each project has to be flexible enough to accommodate the variety and the variance that comes in any project and because of any factor. Life cycle flexibility can be accomplished by A. Identifying the process or the process needed to complete a particular phase. B. Performing the process or processes that are appropriate in a particular phase. And C. Adjusting the various attributes of the phases. That is the name, the duration, exit criteria, entrance criteria. Project life cycles are independent of the product life cycle. A product life cycle determines the evolution of the product depending upon the development cycle, but a project life cycle determines the progress in the project. So guys, I hope you like the video, understand all these 5 life cycles. It's important, and you may get 1 or 2 questions around this in your PMP or CAPM examination, whatever is applicable to you. And we'll see you next week. Till then, keep connecting, keep studying, and all the best.